Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table that each of this too.
My God, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that make
always
sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Good evening, everybody, to Thursday Night Live. I am Scott Cruz. Of course, you all know it's on the profile. So I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Of course, we skipped a week because I was spending time with my family eating not turkey, but pernil, which is pork, which I don't tend to eat pork very much because I think pigs are very cute. But for sake of culture and regimen, I had some pernil this Thanksgiving. And so I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, either flying with family or flying solo. I know a lot of people are flying solo for Thanksgiving. There's nothing wrong with that. Being with yourself. I had a couple of people that, weren't able to see their family, were spending time with themselves. And so that's okay too. You are not alone. Even if you were alone, you're not alone because there's other people alone too. So therefore you are not alone being alone. How is that? So as you wait for more people to trickle on in, I don't know if people got confused because the last live I said it won't be going live until December, but I forgot there's a live on Thursday before December, which is today. So hopefully everyone will get the memo, get the note. Let's see who's all chatting in the room. Daryl, welcome. We got your question in soon. Katie, welcome. Deanna, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're in this month. Sydney Aaron, hello. Welcome. Chelsea M, welcome. Nina, our great mod, is in the room. So y'all give Nina a big old shout out and be very kind to her because she's very kind in return. Katie D, welcome. Currently stuffing my face with mac and cheese. Yeah, I thought last time you said pork and cheese or something. I don't remember. Rashida, welcome. Good to see you. Ali, welcome to the chat. Tommy Garasi, welcome to chat. And Jessica, good evening. Those are the people who I see chatting amongst the crowd. Those of you who are watching, welcome too. I know a lot of people watching their televisions. They can't see the chat, so I try to do as much as I can to put it on the chat. And so before we start the collective reading, where is my overlay? There it is. So you guys want to get in your questions now. $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, and $30 for two questions. So get those in now if you want to get your readings ahead of time. I go in order. Last week we went long, the last live. I was like, there was a lot of questions. So get them in. This way you don't have to wait. And those of you who are new, I'll be doing a collective read. Then we're doing a topic, which is transforming chaos, which would be a very interesting topic. And then we'll start the live readings. And I usually probably do that within 20 or so minutes or so. And that is it. And so we'll shuffle these cards and get on going with the collective read. For those of you who remember the last time, the older cards would give me some problems. So I'm back with the newer cards. So they won't be so, I would say, obvious if I show the pictures. But again, guys, I'm not a tarot reader. Anybody can throw a card up there and say a lot of bullshit. I'm not the guy. I use the cards because I am a psychic medium first. And so the cards are kind of like a tool. They kind of as a guidance of where they want to lead, but I can throw the cards away and not have them. I've read people in bars before. It don't make no difference to me. Of course, it's great that social media has been saturated with, psychics and tarot readers, and a lot of them are just not real, as we know. They haven't been doing it. They just feel like they can go and pull a card on the camera and say, I'm a tarot reader. but they're way off, and they don't understand the collective. They don't have perspective enough. So, be careful with those who are just, think they're, are tarot readers just because they can pull a card or so. Look for the interpretation, look for the resonation, and especially one-on-one. It should be very specific. One-on-one sessions, I always do my automatic writing, and I tap in with my psychic ability and mediumship abilities that the cards are kind of like, let's see what else, if the cards match what I say. And usually they do, which is what I love. To use them. So, Cheryl, welcome. Welcome to the room. What is LFG? Daryl. Still shuffling these cards, as these are stiff. So we're still waiting here to see. Interesting. They're having me kind of do it a little differently today. My guides. Okay. Okay. Interesting. And I don't remember. It's been 2 weeks now. I don't remember what the collective read was the last. I remember they were going in that order. They were like kind of almost like a soap opera. Each week was like a continuation from the last, based on, and again, when I say collective read, I'm talking about the guys in the room. So all you guys in the room, it's a collective read for you guys, and anyone who kind of falls upon this video in the future, obviously they will be resonating with the energy behind it. So whenever I talk about the collective in the sense of the world, I would let you know what I see as in the world context. The collective reading is for all you guys in the room, okay? And those who are watching. Because like attracts like, you're attracted to this for a reason, okay? Okay. It is kind of a continuation, I must say, from the last. So, secrets. I think a lot of you guys have been finding the truth about a lot of circumstances in your lives that you may have been suspicious about. So, and it could be, again, this is a very general collective read. So I feel like a lot of guys, this could be when it comes to relationships, of course, that's the obvious one, as well as any type of work relationships or any type of situation that you may have thought was appearing to be a certain way. I think the truths are coming out as representational by the moon card. But reading that card, why that pulls up, because I feel like that truth is not necessarily a bad thing. Even if someone has been withholding information from you, knowing that they've been withholding information from you is the positive. That's where your change can begin within that situation. And so I'm sensing a lot of this within the room has to do with relationships, and not just romantic, friendships too, also business relationships. There's things, a lot of legalities. Okay, for some of you in the room that have been hidden from you. And so it could be a relationships where, there's some financials involved, either with a divorce or some sort of a, situation where you might have a partner that there needs to be some sort of, financial cooperation, and you're just not getting it. But I think the truths and the lies, actually, that have been suppressed are coming to surface. And if not now, they will come to surface if they haven't already. Which is also representational by the Wheel of Fortune card. So basically, this cycle of struggle, this cycle of what has been withheld from you or kept from you, is coming to an end. And I think a lot of truth will be resurfacing. But you have to understand too many circumstances and utilize your discernment to understand, how have you been duped? What has caused you to be duped? Why were you duped? Why didn't you see through this? Right? Because a lot of times, and this might be a continuation from the last time too, a lot of times you might be falling back into situations and circumstances just because they're comfortable. And, you might not know differently than the fact of, I'm just used to this person, so I'm just trying to make this work with this person because that's all I know. But yet nothing really can work because you're trying to make something work that just doesn't. But just because you're comfortable, you're thinking that you can, and it's an illusion. And so I think now, in order for you to get past these circumstances and to get over these relationships, the truth has to come out, and it will. And a lot of times when that mask falls, it makes a really loud thud. And so for some of you, it might be very challenging to realize these hidden truths and these lies that have been told with you, and the truth has been withheld from you. It could be very devastating for some of you guys. But I think that a lot of you who are experiencing this, you already know that beneath the surface. It's like it's a no-brainer. Let me change this too. So even though the truth comes out, you're kind of like, well, I kind of knew it. I just didn't want to face the fact. I didn't want to face the truth. And so that will change a lot. That'll allow you to kind of really kind of move forward and to see, what you have been doing in the past has been allowing this deprivation when it comes to someone withholding the truth from you, and I see, kind of fake. I would say, I don't want to say scamming you, because some of you might actually be being scammed or been scammed, but just emotionally scamming you, like taking advantage. And so, again, and I've said this before, and a lot of times things are going to be repetitive because we're with each other every week. So not everything gets healed in a week. So a lot of times there's going to be a kind of a repetitive current. And so a lot of what I'm hearing again in this live is a lot of guys are just staying because you're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of the unexpected. If you were to leave these circumstances, that's an issue. That's an issue, because that means you're really kind of blocking out any other possibility because of the fear of the unknown, per se. And the only thing that the fear of the unknown really is that you haven't allowed yourself to think differently. You haven't allowed yourself to think outside the box. When you allow yourself to enforce a newer possibility for yourself, guess what? Then it becomes very rational for you because you could visualize it. Visualization is key, not just to have money manifest out of thin air. That's not what visualization is key for. It's to expand your perception. When you expand your perception, you can encode reality quite differently and also receive more inspiration about the possibilities that can lie ahead for you and what you can choose. So get your mindset in thinking outside of the box and thinking into the retrospect of there are other options. As simple as that sounds, we don't make it very simple sometimes. We make it very difficult a lot of times, but there are other options, and there are ways out of everything. And if you understand and look at the yin yang symbol, I wish I can just pull up the graphic now, but for the sake of time, the yin-yang symbol has a duality, and within the dark aspect, there's a circle of light, and then in the white aspect, there's a circle of dark, meaning that there are gateways to both a positive and a negative, easy accessible. If you're in a positive state, you can easily shift into a negative state. If you're in a negative state, you can easily shift into a positive state. We can easily go back and forth. So if you're in a negative state, you don't have to stay there very long. You can easily shift into a positive state if you prefer. If you want to expand your mind to be able to do so, to give yourself options and opportunity, which is reliant upon your choice of focus. So again, your choice of focus says, well, I'm going to deal with these circumstance situations because it's all I know. Well, this is where you're going to have to try to educate your brain into something new, into a newer facet of thinking, into a newer facet of life. But you're going to find peace in the process. All because I'm holding the peace card off doesn't mean I'm not reading and just saying, you'll find peace. That's what this card represents. In the process of such, you will find peace. In the process of this revelation. Now, a lot of guys could be, resurfacing secrets of your past from your families in the past, not even just a relationship. Or even, things within yourself you learned about yourself that are coming to light. We can also interpret this as that as well. It's very multifaceted in that sense. Take whatever resonates in that sense. But in the process of thinking outside the box and looking ahead in a different facet, you will find that peace. Okay, which then, and the sovereignty card came out many times in the last few lives, is what I remember. So you'll find that sovereignty. You'll find that inner balance and almost like your own individual voice. I know a lot of people, as I say voice, the microphone tilts. Isn't that funny? A lot of guys are trying to find your inner voice, but you can't find your inner voice if you keep suppressing it. It's like, where's my inner voice? Shut up. Where's my inner voice? Shut up. Where's my inner voice? Shut up. It's like you're not letting it talk. So allow the inner voice to speak to you. Listen to it, because it's guiding you. And so you can't complain if you're suppressing the inner voice and say, well, why aren't things changing? I'm focusing, I'm saying my affirmations over and over again. Why isn't things changing? Because you have to act differently. You have to change behavior. And again, part of the law of attraction, what they forget about is action, right? So if you're practicing those ideologies, you have to act differently. And so, but this realization that we're sensing, that either you guys are in process of or about to be in process of, actually will bring that peace to you. Because a lot of guys have been actually wanting the truth and asking for the truth. Here it comes. And don't get mad when it comes to the table. Embrace it. Okay? All right, let me see. Is there any more? Do I need to pull more cards here? Maybe I should, as a guidance of where to go next, because they're saying there's more. Yeah, and another thing too they're saying is they want to emphasize the comfortability thing. Because even though you might feel comfortable in the situation, a lot of you guys have gotten very comfortable in the uncomfortable. And so in that case, your choices are not reliable. That's why you have to be objective to understand what you're choosing, so you understand if your choices are reliable or not. Right? Because, a lot of people are uncomfortable in their pain and their ailments. They're very comfortable in that. Why? It's an excuse to not engage. It's an excuse to not do anything. It's an excuse to get attention. So many people that you may be looking at who are in these dire circumstances are very comfortable in them. And so you have to make sure that your intellect and understanding how the mind works, that your brain does not get comfortable in your circumstances that you need to grow out of. You have to make sure you're very aware of this, because the brain can actually, or the ego will get in the way and tell the brain, this is safe for me. Because anything else is a devastation. Anything else would be a travesty per se. So you have to make sure that you're actually allowing yourself to not be comfortable in those uncomfortable situations and being objective enough to understand if you're falling into one. It's very important. Okay. Once you do, and I love how the Six of Wands just like staring at me there, then you'll be like pushed forward. Things will spring you forward. That information, you'll start realizing your life is moving again. Because once you realize your comfortability is uncomfortable, then taking action will be more comfortable for you. Okay? So that's where there will be a lot of movement. And look at the amazing, the chariot underneath that. It's all about fast movement too. So these two fast movement cards are peeking out at me, which I also think that, going into, as we close 2023, going into 2024, that there's going to be a significant amount of movement. So understand you've been prepped for this. I always say 2023 was a year of movement in a sense of change. And, a lot of people made a lot of transitions in 2023. A lot more realizations emotionally in that movement. And there's been like movement and stall. A lot of that in 2023, still movement. And it was still more movement than was happening in 2022. And so 2024, forget about it. It's going to be movement. A lot of movement. To those who actually been doing the work though, I think that the opposite would be true for those who are not doing the work. They would feel like they're being bounced around in like some sort of like, wind current. They had no control. And those people who have not been maneuvering and taking action in their lives will feel like life is just throwing them around, out of control. So I'm probably talking to a lot of you guys in the room who won't be feeling that, because a lot of you guys are very perceptive what's going on in your lives and in control. So you don't have to worry about that. So get ready for 2024. And remember, all these things, all these stops and go in 2023 has been preparing you for that movement in 2024. And let these truths that are coming to light be a positive thing, because it can't be negative. Even if it might feel negative to you because it's putting an end to a comfortable situation, truth is always a positive energy. Knowing the truth is always about expanding and expansion. And so don't resist it. Run toward it. And then that's when you see faster movement. Okay? What's going on in this chat? And this is actually going to kind of lead me into the topic too. Christopher Techie, welcome. Michelle Ball, welcome. Tell Noelle we said hi. Too bad she's not with us. Sydney, welcome. And Cheryl, welcome. Okay, so that's a collective topic. Now, the collective read. Now we get into the topic. Now, if you guys have any questions about the collective reading, any topics about, or questions about the topic I'm going to get into, please feel free to put it in the chat. Okay. Marcia, welcome. Feel free to put that into the chat as well. But when we start live readings, let's get your questions in for live readings. Now, again, the details are in the description of how to get your readings done. Okay. Transforming chaos. Now, let me change this overlay here, because this way we know where we're at. Transforming chaos. First, what is chaos? A lot of times when we think chaos, we think like destruction. We think like just very, very heavy energy and destructive energy. And although that could be chaotic, that is not the only representation of chaos. Anything that is fragmented in your life is chaotic. So it could be very passive energy. It could be, things are not working in your life, or things are just not fitting together in your life. That's chaotic energy. It doesn't have to be. We always tend to think in extreme circumstances and dire circumstances when we think of chaos, and that's not the complete picture of chaotic energy. Your relationships could be very chaotic. An overbearing mother could be very chaotic in your experience. As much as you love her, that experience could be very chaotic in your life and bring fragmentation. That's chaotic energy. Now, we don't have to run from chaotic energy, because it's through the chaos we learn how to really summon our internal strength and power, right? And so through the chaotic energy, we can identify where you're fragmented in your life, in your own character, in your own being, and use that as a strength. So for example, if you're constantly succumb to your relationships, and I always say relationships a lot because many people in this day and age are having relationship issues, and you always feel like you're always disconnected in your relationships, and you're always not able to connect, and things are always falling apart, or your partners are always unfaithful, not honest, and like we were talking previously about, the dishonesty factor and things. That's chaotic energy. But if you look at that and say, what part of your soul has not evolved? If you keep experiencing dishonesty, lack of transparency, lack of engagement, what does that reflect to you? If you are constantly engaging or attracting that, that means there's something within yourself that you're avoiding. And usually that means you're not being honest with yourself. And it's always that simple when we're trying to look at the reflections, I would say the mirror work, shadow work, whatever you want to call that, to identify what part of yourself has undeveloped. And that's what's rendering these situations, this chaotic energy. So in a sense, just like we say negative energy or fear, they're messengers, and quite frankly, they're there to save you, they're to help you. Because if we are here to evolve the soul level, we're not complete in a sense of we have it all figured out. We don't have it all figured out. We are not fully evolved. We haven't fully became the source energy that we've come from. We're not fully in that realization. So we have a lot of undeveloped aspects to our soul. So instead of judging yourself or beating yourself up or feeling guilty or feeling, even some people are too pompous to admit that they're wrong or something or undeveloped in something, they will create more chaos until the soul gets the point, gets the message. So when you look at the circumstances that are creating this chaotic energy, I like to say fragmented energy in your life, and you say, I need to develop that aspect of myself. If my relationships are so dishonest, so disengaging, then I need to be more engaged with myself and more honest about what I need in my life and more self-reflective in my life. That's how you change it. That's how you flip it around. That's how you gain insight into how your soul is trying to evolve. And guess what? When you reach the precipice, the peak of that awareness, and you completely recalibrate your perspective, guess what happens? You start getting what you want. You start manifesting what you want. Then the relationships start coming around you that represent that energy. You start perceiving reality in that filter, through that growth, I would say, process. You start seeing reality in that format. And a lot of you guys are, taking you have a lot of filters of deprivation over your reality because of your previous or current conditional situations, which means absolutely nothing. They're just reflections of the undeveloped or even developed aspects of your life. Some have a different dynamic. Some of your relationships show your developed sides, and some at the same time show your undeveloped aspects of self. So your goal and your job in this physical world is to identify the undeveloped aspects of self. And then your goal is to rewire the necessary neurological programming to allow your soul to be on board with the change that is necessary to evolve from that undeveloped state and to become more developed in that aspect, whatever it may be. I would say in all aspects. That's the goal. That's transforming chaos. And we chosen to experience this dense reality in this polarity to allow ourselves to evolve, to gain spiritual hierarchy. That's the point. So we didn't come here for everything to be peaches and cream and have love everywhere. We came knowing the dynamic of such. That's the point. So we're not here to change the earth or change the world. We're here to evolve and to elevate consciousness is what we're here to do, and to help others to evolve spiritually is the point. The world is the way it needs to be, and it's perfection the way it needs to be for our playground of evolution. So stop trying to change that. Try to evolve the spiritual perspective, spiritual consciousness. And that's where you will evolve and get what you want in life and be the person you want to be, as well as helping others to achieve the same thing. Okay? Very simple. And so, and again, there's so many different terminologies, so many different people, let's say, so many different things about this, but, we can say it from every different perspective. But the thing is, a lot of our New Age communities are getting very paralyzed by analysis. They know the cliche things to say, but they're not really experiencing life through that filter. They say, oh, that's what I believe, but they don't practice. You guys want to be practicing what you say you believe. And I see a lot of people in New Age communities don't practice anything. They speak about it. They want to throw it on a video to see how many likes and views and clicks they can get and be revered as, oh, they're so wise, but they're not doing it in their life. They don't actually see reality in that format. So as much as there's a lot of posers out there on social media, you guys don't want to be posing in your own life either. You don't want to be a poser in your own life that says like, yeah, I'm saying these things, but am I really doing these things? Right? That's transforming the chaos. And it's very simplistic than you think. And if we all start doing that in our own individual lives, imagine how that will evolve and shift the collective in our species. Massive. Massive. Okay? We need more divine masculine. I think our divine masculine in the collective has been confused. I think the divine masculine, as well as the divine feminine too, but the divine masculine in our society just needs a realization. And I think it's good what's happening in our society today. It's kind of breaking down structures and so forth. That's fine. Not that I buy into them specifically, but I think what's happening in a bigger picture is necessary. The divine masculine needs to understand that the power between divine masculine is strong, protective, and not overbearing. That there's also a nurturing element to the divine masculine that's been missing in our species, in our consciousness. And so I think because of such, it's caused a divine feminine to become overbearing in a sense, to fight against it. So there's an imbalance there. Now the divine feminine is trying to prove a point, while the divine masculine is trying to be overbearing. There's a competition of power between the divine feminine and divine masculine in our species, in our culture. So the divine feminine needs to understand the power and strength behind nurturing, and the divine masculine needs to understand the power and strength behind their nurturing too. So there's a nurturing imbalance going on in our species, in the individuals, in your relationships, in our society. There's a nurturing deficit, I would say. And so that's one thing that we need to be focusing on, especially in our individual lives, is how to nurture. And guess what nurturing is the medicine for? Chaos. Okay? And that will conclude the discussion. And guess what is the next segment? Live readings. Let me put on some cosmic theta waves for the segment. Let me catch up on the chat. See what's going on. Am I missing anything here? It begins with the individual. Everything begins with the individual. I mean, we got to look at ourselves like, we may be part of a hand, but we're the fingers and attached to a palm. Like we still have purpose on our aspect. And I would say, the palm could be God, source, whatever you want to call it, but we are the fingers of God. So we all have to play our role. And so we're all connected. But we all have a specific duty and a specific purpose to create the bigger picture and part of the bigger mechanism, as I would say. Okay, let's get to these questions here. And how many people are in here? What's going on? It's 23. We had a small but powerful crowd. I love it. Either way. And let's see. Just getting my... Let's put these data waves just a tad bit louder. Oof, hopefully it's not too loud. Okay. We have, and I don't know if anyone has used PayPal or anything. All right, so we have here. Oh, so sweet. Daryl, first. 2 questions, please. I'll post in chat. You start face. Okay. Daryl, what are your 2 questions? Did you put it in there? Is it in? Is it in? Is it in? Is it in? Yeah, big group energy and a small. Yeah, exactly. All right, Daryl, what are your 2 questions? I don't see it in the chat. Maybe put it in there now, and we'll get to the live readings. I'm looking back here. Let's see if I can see it in there. I don't. Just gonna wait for you to put it in the chat, and then after that we have Chelsea, then Sydney, then Elevate, then Deanna, then Rashida. I haven't checked my PayPal. So where we got? Do I need to add or remove any vitamins in my regimen? Let's see. Do you need to add or remove any vitamins in my regimen? Let me see. Not particularly. it's your vitamin D is weird. So I don't know if you had a vitamin D deficiency and you're taking too much or you're not taking enough. I don't know how I'm reading that, but you might want to just maybe neutralize the vitamin D level. So if you're taking too much, pull back on it. Or if you need to take more vitamin D, just make sure you're taking through your food sources. So yeah, I just think that you're doing okay with that, but I feel like there might be maybe an oversaturation of vitamin D, or maybe you're not getting enough. There's some vitamin D. Vitamin D. I feel like sometimes maybe you infiltrate with vitamin D, then you pull out of it. So if you're taking a lot of it now, I would pull back a little bit. Make sure you're balancing it out. I'm feeling like too much of that. Anything particularly? No. You should be focusing on magnesium. I feel like there might be a need to be having more magnesium in your diet. I would try that. Yeah, you probably taking too much D3, Daryl. Yeah, you're probably, like I'm saying, you might be taking too much of it. I think your vitamin D levels are like sporadic. So maybe just like take a step back on that. And I didn't learn this until a client of mine had a vitamin D deficiency. She got a shot from her doctor, and it like caused major horrible side effects to her. She had like a blood clot and she couldn't breathe. Like, and it was all because she got a vitamin D. I would say too much of that. Like an OD on vitamin D, ODD, which I never heard before until I had that client. I did some research on that. And yeah, you can have some major side effects, especially respiratory issues, if you have an overload of vitamin D. So they're saying just maybe what's that? Well, you came to a psychic medium. I'm not gonna. What do you think? I'm not gonna call it out. But yeah, they're saying magnesium is something. Just be focusing on that right now. We need to add on to. Maybe start taking through a supplement too. And they're also showing spinach. Like you might want to like get some spinach in your diet. They keep showing me some more like spinach. So maybe just add more spinach into your diet too. I think that'd be something that would be highly beneficial. But definitely, they're saying magnesium. So if you start taking it, go figure. I would continue with that. Okay. What's your second question, Daryl? Because you paid for 2 questions. I'm going to give you all you paid for. So what is that second question? Do you and I have a past life? Let's see. Do we have a past life? I tend to think we have all crossed paths somewhere in our lifetime. That's why we're reconnecting. That's another reason why I think a lot of us are already kind of psychic, because we just know about the person too. From a previous lifetime. So I tend to say if I can read someone, I most likely had a past life with them because I know all about them. And I think that's what really psychic really is too with the person. Is like, you know them, right? Let me see if we've shared a past life together. I'll get some information on this. Yes, we have actually. It wasn't like an amazing, like we were such big entities in this life, but they're showing me kind of like a Wild West, like 1800s time frame, that we were actually an owner of a small. You and I both owned like a small town, or partners in a small town, and you were the mayor. I don't know if I was sheriff or I took care of the political aspects somehow, but we actually ran a little town, actually, which is interesting. And we were actually trying to, it's funny, we were trying to change people's beliefs in that. So it's funny, I think that you're kind of that way in this lifetime. And we kind of cross paths because we have similarities when it comes to, I would say, some sort of like sexual ritual abuse. I think you've had in another past life, and I think I may have said this to you before, but I feel that as well with myself. I've had a few of those, and we kind of connect paths on that and trying to change people's beliefs. And it was like the Wild West, and we partnered in owning this little town, and you were the mayor, and I was kind of the sheriff of that, and it was very interesting to see that. Was not expecting that, actually. I don't tend to think to every past life. I like go to some past life regressions, also socialism. You were this queen. Everyone's a queen. Everyone's a king. It's like, all right, what about the not so significant ones that actually have some sort of intrinsic value somehow? But actually, no, we were both, we were not married or a couple. We were partners in a sense of like business. Like we were both men in that lifetime. We were not lovers though. We weren't not lovers in that lifetime. we were strictly about, you know, changing things and kind of almost like ruling a town. So we weren't lovers. So no, it wasn't that you were a girl. We were both actually men in that lifetime too, which is interesting. I found a lot of my past lives I was men. I really want to tap into any gender bending past lives. I'd love to figure that out. But so far, the ones I've connected with, I was always a male, which is interesting. So, unless I'm not ready to hear about me being a female, I don't really care. It'd be kind of interesting to know. But all right, so that's interesting, Daryl. I was not expecting that. Okay, let's go to the next question, and this will be with Chelsea Manica. Card pull. All right, Chelsea. Let's see. Card pulls. Actually, I say card pull, but I do more than one. So those of you who don't know, if you want a card pull, I do more than. I mean card pull or cards pull. It's not grammatical correct to say cards pull, but card pull meaning I pull multiple cards. It's plural. I just do whatever they say, and then of course I use my own intuition to tap in. The cards are just flashy for online. Like I said before, I don't need the cards. But the cards are important. They do speak to us, but only if you're a good reader. Okay. And we know we have to have the energy that shuffles, you know, so, you know. No, thank you, Daryl. But again, pull back on that D3, man. I just like you're taking an overload and continue with the magnesium. All right? Shuffling for Chelsea Manica. Okay. I kind of felt this before I even pulled the card. Or the cards. Okay. All right, Chelsea. It's time. They're saying it's time. It's time to make change. Time to make a decision. It's time. Time to take action. Which I felt that before I even pulled the cards. So, again, it's just being flashy. I can show a card and say what I'm talking about. Don't need them. But it's time to make a decision. I think you're getting to a point now. You know that the change is happening within, right? So, although the conditional circumstances need to change, you know that. I think that you understand that that's waiting around for the time to be right is not helping, but doing something is going to help. And I think they're saying it's time for that now. You've made the realizations, and I'll show you the cards too, just so you know. Hermit reversed, getting out of that isolation mode. They had to pull the realization card alongside change, power. So there's a circumstance that you understand that needs to be taken care of and start taking that action. You're feeling the push within, and they're saying that spirit telling you to do it now. Go now. Go now. Especially, you know, understanding that, you know, that I think that's when you start seeing some quicker movement. They're saying you're feeling an internal push. Go with that. Go with this internal push. And if you accept the call from spirit, you accept that push, then you'll get the information that you need to, I would say, calibrate your circumstances, to allow yourself to be, you know, a lot of legalities I feel like around surrounding this too. Legalities, financial legalities, divorce, you know, letting the relationship go, you know, but making the change now to really kind of sever the ties. So they're saying to you that this message is going to be on repeat. So if you keep asking the same question, you're going to get the same message. So if you ask a reader, if you have a reading with someone, or you have someone else pull a card, they're going to say the same shit over and over to you. Because you need to start taking action now. And when I say action, let me be clear. You just say, this is what I'm going to do. Stop remaining indifferent to what you're going to do. Say, well, I'm going to do this. If it's saying that I need to divorce, I'm going to do it now and move on with the conditions, then do that. If it is, I'm going to stay for a year, then do that. Moving forward, making a decision based on the fact that you're making that decision because that's what's best for you, and stop being so indifferent and asking the same questions to yourself. What do I do? 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 Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Like that's not doing anything for you. And instead of just actually getting yourself out of that, it's a trauma. Like, to me, that's putting yourself in trauma, that you're keeping this gear going And then nothing actually is breaking that cycle, and you keep wanting to find out more information when there's no more information. Oh, then you know what you got to do. And that's a very simple message. And so, like I said before, and situations like this, conditional relationships come to mind when I get this, in a sense of, a lot of you guys, or some of you guys, many people experience conditional relationships, and they've got so bound by the conditions because of their choice that they can't financially leave it, even though they need to. And so in a situation, I say, well, take advantage of those conditional aspects that you've created for yourself in that relationship and get yourself into an independent current so that you can escape it and leave it and find your own footing. So taking advantage of that and what you've signed up for it for. Many people sign up for those conditional relationships and like, oh my God, I got to leave. And then they can't leave because they're stuck with the conditions. Well, we have to maneuver around those manifested circumstances. In this case, you have an opportunity to I think both opportunities. If you leave now, you'll be okay financially. If you stood, you know what's going to happen there, so you'll be financially. But you have to do what you know you need to do and start going with that impulse. They're saying you're getting a push within. Go respond to it. Okay, it feels like a repetition. I don't know if I said this before. I don't remember. I just see names. I sometimes forget the names. I've had clients I read on here that I've spoken to before. I didn't even know, right? And so. If I said this to you before, then take the repetition as you need to push yourself and stop cycling through. Stop looking for other aspects they're saying. Stop looking for other reasons that focus on all these little tidbits of what happened in the past that's prevented you from actually making a decision for your future. But did he do this in the past? Did they do this in the past? Did they do this in the past? It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. You can dissect in the past all you want, but you have to look in that future, say, this is where I'm going now, despite everything that's gone on. I can add to the list of things of why I shouldn't be in this relationship or marriage, but let me tell you something. Putting 5 more on the list is not going to make any difference. So, obviously, they wanted me to push you. They've been saying you've been feeling a push, and they're making me push you. Because, look, if it was my choice, I'd sit here and laugh all day with you guys. Be stupid, silly, show some music. If it had my way, but that's not my way. My way is I have to sometimes encourage. I'm a big old goofball. So, so you got this, though, Chelsea. You have this. You got this. Push it. Push. And sometimes a little bit of that push is necessary. Sometimes, and I always use this analogy like a broken record, but again, we got to get in our subconscious that, when the butterfly is emerging from the cocoon, it needs a push against resistance to emerge and to be set free. So a little bit of push and a little bit of that resistance is necessary in life. Even to give birth to a child, the mom has to push, and that's positive push to extract, so it gives a birth to that child. The same thing in our lives. We got to push sometimes. We got to push against that resistance. And so, and that message is for everybody in the room, actually, not just with Chelsea. Those who relate. And Chelsea, the same thing with the collective message. Stop being comfortable in the uncomfortable circumstances and looking for every other reasons why. Don't do that to yourself. You're worth. You're better than that. You're worth more than that. You're smarter than that, and you're more capable than that. Okay. Sydney Aaron, card pull. And look, Chelsea, this tough love, and that means in spirit is pushing. That's love. Okay, love is not coddling. That's bullshit. Coddling someone is not love. Putting that passion behind somebody and the care, that's love. That's love. I read a book called Rough Love. Actually, that was a different type of book. Never mind. I'm just kidding. Tough love. Tales of Rough Love. I think it was the wrong book. I was like, why do I have to wear these chaps again? I'm kidding. Okay, this is for Sydney Aaron. Card pull. Okay. Interesting. Options. Sydney's got options. I like this. Let me pull a couple more. Okay. They're saying this is more about preparation, Sydney. Okay. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, I see it. It's almost like I knew these cards were gonna pull too. You've done a lot of growth, a lot, and it's almost like the silence is allowing you to prepare for options. It's the calm before the storm energy. Simple. I want you to see as such. They're saying things have been moving at a glacial pace. And you're like, why is everything moving at a glacial pace? Well, let me tell you something. We had a fucking weird year in 2023. So, if you've been doing a lot of growth, that's a wonderful thing. So sometimes you might just have to coast a little bit while the collective catches up. And waiting for the collective could be rather freaking frustrating because people just don't seem to get it, right? But I think they're saying individually with you, you're going to be expecting a lot more opportunities coming before you. That understand, and I hate to be cliche about 2024 again, but it's just true. If it all connects, we're all aligned to the same energy, then so be it. I got to say it. But you're going to have a lot more to choose from in 2024 for sure. They're saying this abundance of opportunity has actually been a great fear for you. They're saying it scares you actually. And you might want to look at that fear and say, why would option and these opportunities scare you, right? And I think a lot of times it really is what we were saying before about the comfort level, comfortability. Even if we don't like what we want to, what we want to get out of, we sometimes become comfortable in it, and then we just kind of like, well, I'll kind of stay. It's all I know, right? That's this cliche thing. So they're saying, get over the fear of having options and change. Get over the fear of having the success. Get over the fear of the fact that, you've grown a lot, but the only thing preventing you from experiencing the repercussions of your growth is the fear of the new circumstances, is the fear of the new opportunities. So I feel like once you open up to that, it's almost like the floodgates get opened up and things just start flooding on in. Interesting. And of course, I didn't show all the cards, but because I'm not really reading the cards, but they're just there. If I want to show the full cards, all about new beginnings, and and Eight of Cups. To me, it's all about having options and decision making, and then we have growth and fear and all that wonderful stuff. And the fear is the final card, which means that's what's holding you back. So, allow yourself to breathe right now. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and they're going to feel very synchronistic for you. Okay, very generally speaking, but I think it's specifically they need you to understand this vibration, this modality. Nothing specific in a sense, because it doesn't need to be specific. It needs to be a message for you, and that's what they're saying. All right. Likewise, much love to you, love. You have such a genuine soul. But again, get over the fears of having those options and changing. You know what I mean? And I know you want it, but if you really dive deep, you'll say to yourself, I've been kind of trepidatious a little bit about, doing something new a little bit. Even though I want it, but I've still been kind of like fearful of this. Clear it up. Because fear is, again, kind of keeping you safe for what you're not ready for. And I was like, get rid of fear. And people demonize fear so much. Sometimes fear is like, let me keep myself safe for a moment until I'm ready. That's okay. It's all right. Just identify that you're not reveling in that, or you're not, I would say, perpetuating that so much. But sometimes fear is there to help us and to protect us. So, we're not kind of outgrowing ourselves or growing too fast. It might be too uncomfortable for us. So, in this case, your fear is kind of just saying, like, I'm just keep myself safe for a moment because I don't know where I'm going to find my footing yet. But I do think that, you holding back in that way has kind of, it's kind of been dragging things out. That's what's been dragging things out, in a sense. I literally just said, that timing must be great. I've been holding myself. I think we said it at the same time. I don't know if there's a delay or not on that. I just said that. So that's good. That means, and look, my love, when messages like that come about, that means there's a lot before you. There's a lot for you in the future. Especially with Chelsea, they read with Chelsea. It's like there's more for you. That's why there's that push. If all you were worth was it being indifferent to your conditions, there would be no push. So even you, Chelsea, listening, that push means there's more for you. That's the point. There's more for you to experience. Otherwise, Spirit wouldn't give a fuck. Pardon my French tonight. Okay. Elevate. Are we doing a card pull for Elevate? Elevate holistic healing. Okay. Next. Thank you. Spirit knows. I always say I'm a conduit for Spirit. Spirit knows. Do you know why I'm a conduit to Spirit? And you guys know why I love being a conduit to Spirit? Because I know how Spirit has evolved, helped me to evolve. And that means our own soul, spirit of those of our guides, of ancestors, of even just spiritual archetypes that we connect to. The essence of Spirit is so important. And so that's why I like being a conduit for Spirit. Because it really is helping me to express the importance of Spirit, and also be always partaking in what I enjoy. You know? Okay. Those of you who are waiting, I appreciate your wait. And Martha, or Marsha, I saw your PayPal, and I will get to you. I saw the timing on that, so I think after this one we'll get to Marsha, because I think that was the timing on it. Ah, these cards. Maybe I need to use... I have like 20 different tarot decks. I need to maybe pull out another one. I don't really use them so much. Okay, dokie. I'm conflicted on this one. Give me a second. Where's my oracles? I'm kind of getting two different messages here on this, and I want to see why. There's a dichotomy there, because I'm getting two of the extreme opposite cards. I want to see why. Again, the change again. You guys are getting the change card a lot. The consistency. Okay. Very simple. The reason why I got conflicting cards is I got the World card and then the Hermit card. So I'm trying to like read beyond the cards, okay, why that come up, but also read you specifically to understand. But I think a lot of that has to do with more of travel. It's not my traveling card, but I think this has to do about travel. And maybe even traveling solo. I think you need to explore different territory on top of doing that yourself and being in a different territory in your own essence without anybody else. And so let me just, this might be a distraction. Sorry, guys. Close that. And so I do feel like there might be a trip in order, actually. It feels like it might be even a retreat. Yeah. They're saying you have to go do it. You have to go. This might be a retreat that you need to go for yourself. Maybe that's the whole point of the Hermit card connected to this. You probably need to go on a retreat, take this retreat, and go for yourself to better yourself. And I think this is probably why the change was coming up in Ten of Pentacles about happiness and all that stuff and patience. So either it's going to happen or they're advising of it. Usually it's synonymous. They're advising, but it's also going to happen. So I do think that you might go on some sort of retreat for self-healing, for self-development. This feels like they're showing me psychedelics. Show me psychedelics. Again, I don't know if I've said this to you before. I don't remember. So I'm not trying to be repetitive, but this comes up here. Okay? So you might be going on a retreat for self-healing, for yourself. Okay? That is going to bring some change. And you'll find your happiness through this kind of psychedelic experience. Okay, so it could be ayahuasca or something, or even DMT or something of that nature. They're saying. And that's like, I think having patience with that. You've been probably too patient about things. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about that before. And I apologize if I don't remember. If I've had sessions with you guys or if I've read you before, I don't remember. And and I don't want to remember. You know why I don't remember? Because I want every read to be I'm tapping it for the first time. And if it's consistent, then you know it's coming naturally. And I don't necessarily want to prove my abilities to other people, I always want to continuously prove it to myself that I don't need to take notes. I don't need to remember. I shouldn't have to remember. If I'm reading the energy, it should always be consistent. Shouldn't have to remember. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what they're saying. And again, they keep showing the psychedelics again, Katie. Okay, let's go to Marsha. Get the PayPal app. Up in her. Up in her. Up in her. Okay. Career advice, sibling advice. Can we possibly be more specific on question for this format? In a one-on-one read, I would go and elaborate for a chat. So Marsha, be more specific on the, I guess, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. Forget it. Let me tune in. Let me see career advice. It would be general unless you had a specific question about it, but I'll try to get into, I would say, a specificity if I can. But, you know, the career advice is so general. But let me see what just comes randomly on that regard. Okay. Okay. What is that? Sorry, I'm tuning in. Bear with me a minute. They're saying you're studying or learning something new or need to study or learn something new. It's funny. It's in my intro too. They almost like show me something relating to like magnawave therapy or I don't know, something of that nature. I think you actually will be learning a new skill set, a new trade or something. It has to do with like, and again, it's in my intro. I said it once before, and with the reading that I had, was something working with like the vibration, and something with working with that type of frequency and for healing. So I think that you're actually going to dive into something new. So my advice is be open when you get an inspiration to do something new. Okay, because I just feel like you're getting out of a paradigm of, what do you call this? Is it like the corporate ladder thing? Like, I just feel like you're getting out of that whole like mundane shit, to be honest with you. I think you're going to be focusing on something when it comes to, again, I hate to sound repetitive to my intro, but that, you know, it's another read on its own, but it's similar, like working with machinery and frequency and healing. I feel like it's going to come out of nowhere. So I think that you're going to just go independent on your own and leave the corporate world space or whatever you're doing in that type of space. You know what I'm saying? And utilizing technology for this. So like, again, like when if you guys saw the intro and I have like clips of readings, it was one read where, you know, it was the first time it came to me where I saw like someone working machines and frequency, and it was like magnawave therapy or equine therapy for horses that she was doing. And that was her husband in spirit was recommending this. And so I'm getting that kind of similar thing about you working with the machine and energy for like, for healing, right? And vibration for healing and getting in that space and like detouring, out of this corporate regimen. You know what I mean? I feel like you have medical experience. I feel like you have, you know, or at least a medical drive or something with the medical environment, or some sort of connection with the medical environment. I feel like it would make sense that you would go in that direction at some point. So being open to like leaving the corporate world space and kind of going alternative. That's what they're saying, if that makes any sense. Okay. So my advice is kind of a prediction. So in that prediction, the advice is, you know, being open to changing paradigms from corporate to like more, you know, alternative, whatever. Hope that makes sense. And I think the second question was sibling advice. Yeah, they keep seeing you like working with people connected to machines. I hope that doesn't mean you're like doing like sonograms or something, but I don't know, but whatever. But no, but it feels like energy work to me. That's what it feels like. Feel free to fill me in if you want. And then a sibling advice. Let me see. Is there a brother and sister, Marsha? What? Is there a brother and a sister? energy? I'm just wait, because I know there's a delay. Because you're obviously saying, I see a brother and a sister and a brother energy. I don't know, but I'm questioning the brother energy for some reason. I don't know if that's what I'm asking, because I don't know if I'm misreading this. But I predominantly feel like more of a there's a sister. I don't know. Could you just fill me in, help me on this? Yes, is that yes to the brother and sister energy? Because I type in, I see like a sister energy and there's a brother energy right here, and I'm questioning this brother energy. Well, the brother energy seems a little distant for me. If you can help me on this, I'll just wait for the response. And there's a lag. Can you just help me on that? With the brother, okay, because that's probably why I see the brother being distant, right? And there's a sister energy. So, okay, I'm seeing to me, I saw 3, but I saw you, and there's a sister energy close to you, and the brother energy is somewhat like distant or something. I don't know if they're trying to gather everyone together or trying to connect people, but it feels very fragmented. I feel like you're close with one sister, and the other sister's like out of the picture, and the brother is slightly distant. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I put this on the screen to help people. Okay. Just put it on the screen so people understand where I'm at on the read too. And she said, I'm assuming the yes was because of the distant brother energy. They're kind of saying right now, like, if you're trying to gather people, that it may not be the best right now to gather people. I'm getting a lot of resistance from that brother energy for some reason. Right? And I feel like you and the sister energy this one sister energy that might be close to it might be on the same page, but the other sister and the other brother is not. And so therefore, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I would ease up on trying to connect everybody right now and try to gather everybody. Again, that distant brother energy to me feels like it's going to be distant for some time. You know, Marsha, that's the secrets we were talking about in the beginning of our read. Remember that I was some of the family, because again, the collective reads for the room, talk about family secrets coming to light, right? And helping things be exposed. But don't try to gather people around right now. It's not the time to gather everybody. It's just like relax on that a little bit. Again, I feel close connection to you and a sister. The other one is like almost out of the picture, and this brother's being slightly distant. And I think it needs its own timing on this. They're saying to take a step back. Don't try to fix or don't try to gather everybody up just yet. Okay? So I think that's a big deal. So it's almost like you're saying that let the process unfold. You know, let the secrets and everything take its toll. You know? No, Nina, we're still open for questions. Yeah, we're still open. So, yeah, guys, I'll probably be closing down for questions in about 15 minutes. So if you guys, anyone in the room wants to get some questions, feel free to get your questions in before I close it down. So, Ali, welcome. Good to see you, Mrs. Ali Boba. Yeah, you're down with Italy. Yeah, not everybody's gonna gather around, love. Not everybody's gonna gather around. You know, again, there's a sister energy I almost don't see, and again, there's one sister's close to you and a brother is something distant. It's not gonna. Not everybody's going to be able to attend. I'll just say this, okay? Not everybody, and you know, if you push it, it might cause more conflict. Let it happen naturally. They're saying, all right. And you know, it's again, and be open to this energy work change. And again, whatever this vibrational machine thing is, it came once before. And it's in my intro on my live, which is interesting. We got that again. So when I see a repetition, I call it out. I just don't throw shit at people. But there are similarities in people that come to me that I address. I'm like, I've had this before. So just so people can count, I remember symbols of things. Okay. So I hope that helps, my love. I think you're doing a good job, though, Marsha, as far as, you know, you are trying. I think you're trying to gather, you know, as well. I think that you're more of a leader, you know. I think you're more of a leader, you know, when it comes to, you know, kind of dictating things. But, Yeah, I mean that one sister energy that feels so far off, man. It's just she might just be. Hold on, let me try to tap into their energy real quick. I don't mean to be long-winded about this, but you did pay for 2 questions, so I'm gonna spend a little more time. That sister energy, that feels distant, right? Almost like that brother and sister energy feel kind of like similar in energy. I feel like that sister energy is struggling. I don't know if she was once dealt with substance abuse mildly. Yeah, there seems to be some sort of a mental disturbance there with that sister that's here. That's the only way I could describe it. Similar to the brother energy. They got the same energy in a sense. But there might have been some substance abuse there with that sister. I think she's struggling though now. Maybe if she's not with any type of substance abuse, she might be struggling right now emotionally, not doing so well. Yeah, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Especially with that sister-brother energy. There's one sister I feel like you're success with, there's a connection to. The other two I feel like they kind of are in... I don't know. Hopefully that helps, but hopefully you also learn how to take a step back from that. And I was saying, yeah, it is a healing thing. Okay, Deanna Quarterly. Card pull. I'm going to start changing these options, I think, next week. Okay, let me see here real quick. Yeah. She is. Okay. Yeah. It's definitely pharmaceuticals, love. I was seeing pills. Yeah. I was seeing pills. That's interesting you said that. Substance abuse. I saw an issue with drinking before, and I'm going to say this while I'm shuffling for Deanna. I did see, alcohol abuse like in the past, and then currently I saw pills, but like almost like prescription too. It could be like abusing medications or something. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing that. Definitely seeing that for sure. Yeah, she's just not ready. The brother energy feels hardened. I feel like the brother energy, it's like, again, it is very secretive. I feel like your brother like despises your dad, but like pretends like he doesn't, or is like not addressing something with his dad. So I feel like there's a lot of that dynamic going on. I mean, yeah, I feel like you're in the center of like a whirlwind of chaos, right? And you can maintain your balance with this. Yeah. What does that say? Hospital twice, and she's government. Okay. Not a problem. Remember, my love, I know you want to fix and help, but you can't. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. No pun intended, based on what we're talking about. But you get some things you're just going to have to let unfold and understand. We all have our own karmic lessons to learn, and we can't interrupt a karmic process. And so whatever they're experiencing, it may seem very devastating to us, but it's necessary for their soul growth, and their soul knows that. So we have to allow them to experience their karmic lesson, and understand when it is our time to step in and heal. And then when you're more in tune this way, you can understand that they just have to learn their lesson, and you won't try to intercede on it. And also that wouldn't bring any more pain to you, in a sense. All right, okay. Deanna, I was shuffling. Ooh. Oh, I love these. Love these cards. Not that I don't love all the cards, but these are like, I like these cards. These are the cards that I like. In a sense of like, let me see here. Just with Marsha. Awesome. That's interesting. I didn't know that Christopher's been doing the 40 Days of Truth. So it's interesting to read. I love the parallels. For me, like every time I have a topic, I realize another spiritualist doing the same topic. Like I love to see that we're in sync. The good ones are always in sync with message. I love it. I did not know about the 40 Days of Truth, and we all about the truth being revealed. I love it. That makes me feel good because I know Christopher is all about the astrology. He knows what's going on, the planets, and I'm kind of just reading that blindly with intuition. So it's good to hear that. Okay, Deanna. All right. Take your time, my love. You might be rushing things a little bit too much. Now, that's okay because we tend to do that. So some people need to be pushed more. Some people need to stop pushing so much. And so you might be trying to rush things a little bit too much, And I would say overall, in your life and with change. They're saying you're pushing a relationship too. So if it's a partner, I just see a relationship you might be pushing too much with a relationship. Now, that's the part of that we have to advise you on. The cards I love, I'm going to tell you in a moment. But the reason why people who push, should not be pushing, and which can actually come out to be a negative, when you get the Magician card, you understand or need to understand that you have massive amount of mystical energy. A lot of mystical energy, whether you realize it or you don't. This is something that could be channeled because we have previous life experiences. I feel like in a past life you were a big old witch. And I say that just to be, because, we think of like magic witches and stuff. So it's like, let's be sensationalized for a second, right? But I do feel like you have a past and a history of working with magic. And what is magic? Manipulating energy, knowing how to really alter energy. You have this inherently within you. I don't think you're conscious of this though, but you need to understand that stop pushing things right now, take a step back, understand your own inherent power. And you also got the Wheel of Fortune card too, because that means things will start changing for you as well. And I feel like, more of like an elevation, more like an elevation as far as with a relationship and with work. So it feels new to me. I feel like a new chapter. So you might have to stop pushing with one relationship, stop pushing for it, let it go, because another one's coming. Something of that nature. Okay? So I would kind of be aware of that. Okay? So yes, I like the fact that you're saying, understand the power that you already harness, give up on this relationship you keep pushing for. New cycle's on the way. New cycle's on the way. I know it's glitchy, but that's what happens when I select a little latency. Sometimes the server will glitch out a little bit. So we'll just wait for that to clear. Just texting my mod. Yeah, sometimes some lag, guys, because I have a low latency mode, and so then YouTube, depending on the server, will dictate how to adjust the quality to compensate for any type of traffic issues. So let's just wait. It happened, I think, a couple lives ago. We'll just wait till it's cleared up. And so that's for you, Deanna. So stop pushing just one relationship. Let that go. You have the power within you to harness that energy within. Okay? And you have that inherent energy to easily manifest and manipulate energy as much as you want to. So if you push for something, it's going to kind of come back to you in a negative sense. And they're saying there is a new chapter beginning with a new relationship. Okay? With a new relationship, I feel like. Or at least someone comes in that's going to be very suggestive to you in a sense that that's going to make you feel like you're in a new relationship or can see yourself in a new relationship. Someone intriguing. All right, how is it now? Is it better? Is it back to normal? Guys, is it better? I'm just going to take a breather until it clears up here. It happens sometimes with traffic. Now, I could put on, a different setting, but it'll be more latency. Oh, Interesting. Well, look at this. So it froze when I said that Deanna is a witch. It froze at that moment and talked about her manipulating energy. Did you see what you just did, Deanna? Did you see what you just proved my point about manipulating energy? Right when I was saying that, the whole shit glitched. Coincidence? I think not. Seriously. It glitched right when I said you're being a witch and told you about manipulating energy, and look what just happened. The whole thing froze and glitched out. So if you don't have a confirmation about that, you do now. Okay? That's awesome. That's pretty cool. I think that's... So if you guys didn't hear before, everyone's saying it's better now. It froze right when I told Deanna that she's a witch and she can manipulate energy very well, inherently. And the whole live froze when I said that. I mean, confirmation? Anybody? I think it's pretty good. Okay. Rashida. Was some being trying to communicate with me last night? Let me see. Does it? Okay, well that's... I love that I forget stuff. I love this. It happens every time I read you. Well, hello, lady. Lady, aren't you gonna get it yet? I fucking love it. That's your energy, babe. Come on. Utilize it. Stop exhausting it and dumping it on a situation that's ugh. Why am I pulling the cards for Rashida? She had questions. It's funny. You asked me, was someone trying to communicate last night? I got the death card. So clearly Spirit was trying to communicate with you, Rashida. It feels like it's a father energy. It's your dad. It's a father energy. I get father energy. Your dad's passed, right? What's the second question? Oh, I just see this. I missed my dad's death by hours. Were those lives? Okay. You confirmed it there. Good. That was your dad visiting you last night. It's not the first time. Not the first time he's trying to get your attention. He's showing me boots. You know, you might have been hearing walking. So, you know, he's trying to also make it audible that he's around, like the sound of boots or like boots walking in the room on the floor. He's trying to make himself known somehow. And so this is not the first time your dad's been around. But he keeps showing me like these boots and like the sound of boots walking. So you might be hearing that, or you should hear that. If you haven't, you might hear it. Of him being present. For some reason. I don't know why he's showing me like a palm frond. Do you have a plant in your room or something? Is there a plant in your room? Like a palm plant or something? Do you have in your room? Rashida? I think he's like moving this plant or something. Do you have like a palm plant in your room? I don't know why it would be a palm plant in your room, but I see it's like kind of like palm plant. I'm just waiting for it to come to chat. Do you have that, Rashida? Answer it in chat. Because he's showing me this, and he's moving that and messing with this. So yeah, your dad's just trying to make his presence known. I'll just say this. I don't know how much of a lag that you have on that end. I'm asking the question. But he keeps messing with this palm plant, and kind of like, it's almost funny to him, in a sense. You know? Maybe because it's fake, or I don't know. Or I don't know why it's funny to him. Okay? But yes, it's your dad. And okay, what was my dad's last hours like for him? Rashida, can you respond? Where are you? I'll get to the next question while hopefully you're responding to what I was asking you. Yeah, that was your dad. That was your dad. Okay, and if the if the palm frame doesn't make sense to you, try to think of a reference why he might be laughing about that. It could be a symbol for something. It could be a symbol for, maybe he had a shirt like that. You know what I'm saying? He just showed me this palm tree plant or something like that. I don't know what he connects it in your room, but he's laughing about this. So maybe some sort of a memory, you have, or share a picture. I don't know. Something of that nature. And it'll make sense because it's so vivid to me. And when it's vivid, I know it's just you saying, oh, it's this, and understanding why he'd be calling that out. Okay? I don't know. It's not that. Him being a vet, no, it's not that. It's you'll get it. Don't try to make sense of it now. It'll come to you. I don't want you to try to force the thing. It's going to come to you. You'll get why it's coming up for me, but it's not. It has nothing about him being a vet. Not that. No. Okay, let me just. It's the last moments. Give me a moment here. I think he called for you. And I don't know if someone should have told you this, but I feel like he's called for you on his when he was passing. Wait, Rashida, again, and not so much that you have a plant. It could be a symbol, right? So don't take it so literally. It could be a symbol or maybe a picture with the plant in it that he's making light of or a joke of, you know what I mean? Or he has a picture with palm fronds or something on it that you'll remember. Just don't try to figure that one out. Just let it, it's going to come to you. I don't want to influence your brain on that. I want it to just come randomly oh my God, and it's going to make sense then. Don't think of it specific as a plant. I read it as such, but it could be a symbol. If it's not the plant. That's why I asked you. Don't think about it's going to come to you. I don't want you to try to put the pieces together. Let Spirit show it to you if it's not unbeknownst to you. It could be something after session. Okay? Just keep it in the back of your head. Don't try to, use confirmation bias to fit it together. Spirit will show you after the session. All right? Because a lot of times it happens. People are like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden after the session, oh my God. I had many sessions where, mothers passed on. And it's like the mother keeps calling for Cheryl. They're like, we don't know Cheryl. Then after the session, they dive into the box. And then there's her best friend Cheryl in a picture. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that you're just not in the moment. But it's going to come and be like, oh my God, that's what he's talking about. And connect you with some sort of a instance that makes sense. Okay? Okay, but your dad's last moment, he said he called for you. Almost like he kind of reached out. There was a suffocation, I feel like. Well, clearly, we lose breath when we pass, but I think there was a heart grasp. I feel like there was even fluid in the lungs, in a sense. And so I think when he passed, it was almost it was abrupt for him. I feel like his life flashed before his eyes. I know the cliche things. I don't usually have Spirit tell me this, but I feel like for him, he thought about everything in his life flashed, and he thought about you. He's like, so if he called through, he just thought his life flashed before his eyes. I feel like it was kind of abrupt, in a sense of his just. I felt fluid and a trappage here in the lung, and a choking experience. And so I think that's kind of what he was feeling. But it was a quick transition. I don't think there was anything, dragged out in a sense, But your dad's more symbolic to me. I don't get your dad being so specific on a nose. Very symbolic in a sense to me when it comes to interpretation. But his passing was smooth. But I feel like his life flashed before his eyes, and I feel like he called for you, in his mind, But now that he's passed on, he can actually have a better perspective on, okay, you missed it. There's no guilt there. You shouldn't feel bad about this. But it was a very kind of it was kind of abrupt for him, actually, how the breathing stopped for him. Peaceful, but somewhat abrupt. And I felt a tightness here, in the lung. So it's best I can see. So, I have tattoos on my back of a panther crawling and with a rose in her mouth. I got it the night he died. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I didn't, that's not what I was seeing, as far as, unless I kept saying plant, unless he was trying to show me a claw thing, because I would kind of show you how the palm plant he was showing me looked like this. Unless that's what he was. That's the palm plant he was showing me, imagery. So unless you say clawing, unless he's trying to show me that, your dad's not so clear, I would say. He's very symbolic, like I said before. So I was getting this type of imagery. So to me, it looked like a palm, like this kind of palm thing. And if you look back on the live, you see my hand, my claws kind of go like this, with the palm like this. So probably he's trying to get me to say, talk about that. You know what I mean? So, he's not the clearest. I'll tell you that. Some spirits are very clear. He's not the clearest for me. So rewatch the live and watch. I kept doing this with the palm, right? So he could be trying to identify and get me to identify that tattoo. You know. Yes, that's exactly right. Because I saw him like, that's how I saw it. Propped up. And then he's like, called for you. And it was quick. And then he passed it. That's how I saw it. Exactly like that. And it was abrupt like that. And he called for you. Now, I don't know if anyone heard it, if it was audible to anybody else, but he heard it. He called for you. But his life kind of flashed through his eyes, too, is what he's saying. But I think, and I don't want to try to make this match that, though, Rashida. I'm not that guy. But I really think your dad was trying to get me to do this claw thing with the palm, like just seeing that kind of rigidness like this. I think he was trying to get me to do that. I don't think he's good at communicating, specifically. Like I saw boots and heard sounds. That was the best. And you hearing somebody walking, and you know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah. What's that? You have a tissue box in your room that has those on them? Has what on them? The palm? Well, he said it was in your room, too. So if your tissues, again, and remember, he was showing me this claw thing. I was doing this claw with the palms, too, before. Again, he's trying to piece it to me. And here's a good thing for a lot of you guys, too. Sometimes spirit is not great at communicating, as far as being specific. The longer they're passed on, the more they can acclimate it to that. Or if they were more spiritually inept in their physical life, sometimes it could be symbolic, and I have to spend time to really extrapolate the energy in a session. On a quick format like this, it's challenging, and with someone who's more a symbolic type of spirit that communicates very symbolically. And some come very differently. So in this case, he's symbolic, but at least we can validate too. One, that he was the one making the noises of walking in your house, and that was him that visited you. That's the most important thing. And once you understand it's him connecting with you, and you can connect with him, you'll have what he's trying to say to me through me make more sense. Okay? Nina, Nina, did you send me a question? Nina, you give me a question, but I don't see one. Same thing with Sydney Aaron. You guys paid for questions, but I don't see them. So Nina, where are you at? What's the question, baby? And you didn't have to put it on there. It doesn't say it here. Hold on, let me see if I'm missing it. Oh, sorry. I clicked on your profile picture. Well, yeah, and let me answer Michelle's question. It depends, right? I've had some spirits who've I always say they have 40 days upon transitioning to connect, because I've always been told 40 days, and there's also a lot of times where they have to do a life review. So your dad, 2005, I didn't feel like it was recent, but sometimes if they're not being channeled a lot, they don't communicate very well. They're not so connected to physical earth. They have kind of a distant, I have to fine tune my frequency to really kind of reel in their information, and that can take some time sitting with them. In quick circumstances like this, it could be rather general too, if their energy isn't low enough to communicate with me, and I don't have the bandwidth to raise so much in a situation like this to reel it in. I start getting a headache, to be honest with you. So if I'm not getting the assistance from spirit, and in this situation, I'm not going to raise too high, because I won't be able to do the rest of this live if I export my energy like that. So if they've been gone for some time, or they've been gone recently, or they haven't been spiritually inept in their physical life, or they're not being channeled quite frequently. It could be also that, your dad I think your dad has been coming around more lately, Rashida. So that could also be why he's been coming on lately. Maybe there's some sort of a reason why he's been connecting with you, and so I feel that, right? So It really depends. And there's a lot of, your dad's not hands-on, but your dad visits and connects. There's spirits that are very hands-on with their loved ones, and so they kind of are seeing everything. They're so specific because they're so engaged. Your dad's not so engaged. Your dad connects out of love, but he's not so engaged about what's going on in physical reality. He's just not. And so there's a more of I have to do more work to get more clarity. And in one-on-one sessions I do that. In this format, there's so many people I don't have the bandwidth to do that. Which is why he's more symbolic. Okay, why don't you clarify that up a little bit? Because I had questions, my whole life I had questions about this. I'm like, why are some so clear? Why are some not? And then I can get them clear. And then I just so many variables I've learned in the decades of doing this work, and and then it just makes sense to me. But you can always get them clear if you allow yourself more time with them. If you can give more time to consort with them, it can bring their energy down. You can realize more. And I always say, spirit lays dormant unless they're being channeled. Spirit lays dormant unless people are activating them. So if there's not many people thinking about them, meaning channeling them, their spirit lays dormant. So as much as we awaken the spirit actually has to have time to calibrate and to acclimate. And I would say, again, the soul is always experiencing life. This spirit, we create spirit versions of ourselves after a life we've lived. Your dad's soul is doing something else, but his spirit version has been laying dormant and sometimes awakens and sometimes connects when you need him. And depending on how engaging the spirit is actually becoming, there's so many different variables. That's why it's important in this work to not be ignorant. And people who go to see a medium, don't be ignorant if you're going to go see a medium and put demands on something that you don't understand. Get information, knowledge about it. Yeah, and his personality too, right? And so that's another identifier. Okay, Nina, my bird feels really doesn't eat the healthy food we give him. He's a rescue bird and has trauma, but what can you do to help him his eating habits and to feel safe? Interesting parallel, Nina. Get him the old food, Nina. Just get him back to what he was eating before. What he was eating before was fine. We don't need to really, bird seeds are bird seeds. We don't need to really extrapolate all this other stuff. Give him back what he wanted before. It was fine. It wasn't harming him. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I definitely would want, just put what was working before was working before. I don't think birds need to be on diets. Their bird seeds are quite fine. And if apples aren't satisfying them, just go back to the bird seeds. You know what I mean? Give it back to what was working. Animals, are creatures of habit too, my love. And so, my dog isn't. My dog will change. I change so much. My dog is adapted. I raised him that way. So I can change his food. He's fine. But, but if it's already developed a habit, and you take that habit away from the bird, it's going to resist it. Every species is a creature of habit, not just human beings. So just give it back. Give the bird back to what it was eating before. It's quite fine. All right? There's no health issues with the bird. I don't think the bird necessarily has any trauma per se. I just think the bird just wants to eat what it was eating before. It's quite fine doing its routine. You broke its routine. So put it back on its routine. Yeah. Yeah. Give him whatever works for him, just give it to him. It's really, it's not like we feed our birds sugar and chocolate and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, I just it wants... Even animals, if they have been through some sort of trauma in that way of being kind of neglected, passed around, they want to find stability. And the one thing, of course, creatures and those animals find stability in is in their food, right? So make sure you just keep the consistency that was going on with them, right? It doesn't feel, this bird obviously is a picky eater. I just think just give it back what the routine it was doing before, what was working before. It wasn't unhealthy. All right? And I'm going to send that money back to you. You didn't have to pay me for that question, Nina. I know we talk all the time. Just send me a text message, Nina. Por favor. Sydney Aaron, personal travel recommendations for me in 2024. All right, we can close down the questions now. And we have a few more left. We'll just remove this from, what am I doing? There we go. I'm getting tired, y'all. These lights are freaking burning my bald head. That's why I wear hats sometimes. So just the lights aren't, you can't even see my hairline through these lights. Okay. Travel recommendations for 2024. See anything specific? What comes to me? Well, I mean, anything really. Ugh, you guys in the Sedona energy. Sedona would be nice. Why did I hear London? Paris? Over something overseas? Have you been thinking about London or something like that, or Paris or something? I don't know. I feel like I saw Sedona, but then I also complete other end. I'm seeing like London or Paris or something like that, almost like a calling over there. So, which is interesting. So I don't know the connection there. I do have a hairline. You just can't. The lights are so bright. It's right here. And you can see it in my pictures, but with these lights, yeah, you can't see it, Daryl. So that's what I'm saying, Sydney. They show me Sedona, but then they show like something with London or Paris too. So, and I get some overseas travel. I feel like the London or the Paris connection is like pulling you there. Something will pull you there or something. Or maybe a friend suggested. I don't know. I feel pulled there. So hopefully you heard that, Sydney Aaron, as you're chatting away over there. Yeah. Okay, next is Patty Grabowski. Did you hear that, Sydney? Okay. Patty Grabowski. All right, my granddaughter's father is not with my daughter. Hold on. My granddaughter's father is not. This is like one of these like. Yeah, but you might hear something in 2024 saying about like Paris, a pull there. Okay, so that's unexpected. I'm telling you, that's unexpected. So I'm telling you things like recommendations. So they're saying like they're showing me Sedona, and there's also a pull to Paris and or London or something like that. So that's unexpected. I thought there'd be a pull there. That's why I was kind of explaining that because I knew it was unbeknownst to you. So I feel like yes, there would be some sort of a pull there next year. You'll understand it when it happens. It happens. You'll get like, oh, that's why I said that. And it might even be you're getting in 2024 planning for the next year. It could be something of that nature, but you'll get it. You'll get it. Remember, future predictions, a lot of times predictions are things you don't know about. Remember that. Okay? All right. My granddaughter's father is not with my daughter. And shortly after separating from her, he is getting married in May to someone he recently met. Is it for love or money? Will it work? LOL. It's a mixture of both. I feel it's like for love and for money. It's like it's conditional, but there's actually general like love interest there. But you have to understand they're also two peas in a pod. So I don't think that the coupling itself is like a model relationship. But I think that these two actually do connect. Like they are a match. And so it'll work. I mean, look. Again, it's partially conditional, partially because it's real love there. And I think once the love goes, it'll remain conditional for a while. It'll last, but may not last forever, but it'll last for some time. I feel like that would, but the conditional aspects will keep it together for sure. For sure. Anything else on that? Yeah, and I think, look, it's going to keep him distracted. I'll say that too. It will keep him distracted where he wouldn't be causing much trouble with your daughter. I'll make sure I read that right too, the gender too situation. Bears me a moment. Where did this is all just, give me a second. There it is. Okay, I'm losing it. Yes, exactly. So yeah, I feel like it would keep him distracted where he wouldn't be causing much problem in your family. Okay, so anything else with that? Nothing really more I can say on that. I mean, there's nothing really to dabble on that question, but yeah, it's love and money. Like I said, for it's conditional. It'll work for some time, and they'll both will be happy when it's just conditional. They're both not so emotionally engaging to begin with. I mean, I think they can emotionally engage for a degree, and then they just get very static in their emotional expressions. Last one is Elevate again, Katie again. Am I on the right track with how for Katie? Am I on the right track of how choosy I'm being with clients? Am I being too harsh? No, you're not being too harsh, because you have to identify and work in the parameters you wish to work. I think the overly picky thing that you're doing now needs to be because you have to stop giving your energy out so much. And so, no. And look, let me tell you something. There's some clients that they're just rude. They're just rude. So you need to set the parameters, and you got to set the boundaries. You have to set the boundaries. So no, you're doing this for yourself. You're doing this so you can set the boundaries. You're doing this to set the parameters. And I think this is necessary right now. Especially, elevate. Yes. Especially when you elevate your work. Okay, because especially once you change the parameters of how you're doing your work from what you're doing now into the newer version, then you've refined. So you're going to be picky right now until you actually do what you really want to be doing, the energy work. You know what I mean? So in the way you want to be doing it. And so until then, you're going to be more and more picky until you just push yourself to do it. Okay, so no, you're not being too picky. You're setting boundaries. And I know with your past traumas, you setting boundaries might feel like you're disappointing, but let me tell you something. You're the one that's being disappointed. So fuck that. Bam. No, keep doing what you're doing. You're refining, and you'll get to a point too where you're so selective to where you will actually be pushing yourself and doing the work in the way you want to be doing it. Right now, like you're having a buffer period, but don't drag on the buffer period. Okay. And I think that concludes the live readings. And I'm actually a little tired. I've been a little sluggish the past couple of days, actually. I don't know if y'all been feeling a little bit of sluggishness too. It's been kind of lingering, like walking in jello. Someone once said, I said it's like walking in water. It's been kind of very sluggish. It's a sluggish bone. So that concludes the live readings. I'm glad to see you guys after the wonderful holiday of Thanksgiving. And let's just pull some couple oracle cards before we close. Yeah. Before I send you all on your way. And the closing message for y'all is, we said a lot in the beginning, so I don't want to overextend it. But I appreciate all you guys for coming this evening. We'll send you off with this. Peace and blossoming. Hold on a second. Alibaba, did you I closed it down. I don't see anything else. Yeah. I don't see. Peace and blossoming. Y'all are blossoming. You're finding your peace. And Ali, I didn't get anything from you, Alibaba. I didn't get anything. Thank you, Nai. That's sweet of you. You'd have to be stellar to see stellar in somebody else. So you're pretty stellar yourself. And I mean that, actually. Yeah, and you know what, Rashida? That the palm thing is, if you said there's palm frond things like that on your freaking tissues in your room, well, hello. And your dad said it was in your room, and he's kind of chuckling about that. And he was trying to get me to do a claw thing, right? So look back at the live. You'll see what he was trying to get me to communicate. Being that your dad is not the best communicator, and he probably wasn't the best communicator in the physical world either, it was not being so clear to me, other than hearing him walking around and visiting you, which you heard that the previous night, which is good. At least you had that, okay? Guys, it's been very wonderful. Lisa, thank you so much for the kind words. Next week, Alibaba, we'll get you in, okay? Make sure your money goes somewhere else too, okay? And as you all know, you can book a session with me at scottcruzpm.com, link in bio. I have to pitch it. If someone new's watching it, if someone just comes across this live and they don't know how to book a live one-on-one session with them, I'm just saying it. The link is in the description, scottcruzpm.com. If y'all get lost, it's down there. And of course, there's more detailed information and more, I would say, more clarity in a full session. We're trying to be quick in these lives to get every question answered, but in one-on-one sessions, it's more elaborate, it's more specific and detailed, and spend more time to, of course, assess any situation that you might need. So if you feel allowed to do so, that's well. Tell your friends, tell your family you want to grow this channel. Let's expand it. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And remember, like I always tell you guys, you are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? I will see you next week. Same time, same place, different shirt, different face. Well, faces. Same face here. Good night, guys. Much love.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table. No, you said like to summon your end table. This too.
my God, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some MagnaWave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.